Hey guys, welcome back to Living in My Now. Thank you so much for pressing play. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe because I not only want to help you but others as well. And I have a special guest. This is my boyfriend, Tim.
Hi, how's it going?
Now, I'm just gonna warn you now. If he doesn't feel like editing this, we're just gonna upload it in the raw how it is. So you're gonna get all the bloopers and everything crazy. He was trying to adjust his watch. So I'm just gonna show it off. He got this nice watch which had a lot of drama associated with it. So yes, we just want to show off his watch.
Oh,
But I know
no,
some
they're gonna think I'm whatever it is, telistic, something telistic.
what?
Materialistic, that's it.
Oh. So you may be wondering, when did this boyfriend come around? So I'm gonna tell you how we met. So you want to go first?
You can go on, go on.
Okay, so I had tried because I try to keep my business, but my sister was having crazy stuff happen on Facebook dating. So I tried that out. Met this guy. He was a weirdo, because you get to that point in your life where it's like, yes, I want to be married, but also people turn you off really quickly. So it's like I'll just try it for chucks and giggles. So I got on there, met this guy. He was a weirdo. And that was on August the 2nd of last year, 2022. So literally, like August 11th, because I was like, yeah, I'm just done with this dating thing. It's whatever. God will do when He does it. If He does it, whatever. I don't care. And tell me why August 11th at 8 in the morning, my friend texts me and she sends me this picture of him and his mom and his brother on the mission field. And she was like, there's this really nice, godly guy. He's like looking for a wife. I've met his family. They're super nice. And I just laughed. I'm like, are you serious? After I just sat there and said, whatever, I don't care anymore. So we started texting and then we started video chatting because he was in Mexico at the time as a missionary. So that's how we met. So I'm going to let you tell your side.
All right. Well, I've been trying to find someone since, heck, I was 18, 19. And, well, most of the people there in Mexico, women there, are married by the time they're 15. And it's kind of hard to find someone, that's older than 15 and that's decent, especially where we were. Most of them were not going to church or anything like that. So I was looking online and not good luck there either. And there was this one girl that I liked, and she was quite a bit younger than me, but I liked her, and
she was legal. She was legal.
Illegal. She
wasn't. Let's just say that she was not.
She was not. She was not a child. No, definitely not. But things didn't go well. She played around, not in any immoral fashion like that, but she pretended like she liked me. But then she said, "Oh, by the way, I'm engaged," and that kind of blew my mind. So after I would say a month or so. And this was actually right after my brother had passed away. He was a pastor there in the church, the mission that we had there, and he had been the pastor for 18 years after my father passed away as well. My father and him were both the pastors during his life. Then when my father passed away, he was a pastor. I was down there doing the song leading and just doing, being a part of the ministry, part of it because I was living in Texas, but then had to move down there because of health reasons. Anyway, after he passed away, I was doing the preaching and stuff, and I said, what, God, I give this to you. If you want me to be married, then I'll find someone. If you don't, then, whatever, it's your will. And we got to give our life to God because that's what we are. We were bought by price, and we need to be willing to give our life to God. And so I did that, and the next day I got a message from our friend, mutual friend. She was talking to my mother, and my mother.
Thank you, Amber.
And yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Amber. And so they said, that my mom asked me about it, and I said, "Oh, okay, sure, send the pictures." And I said, "Okay, yeah, I'll talk to her." And she was beautiful and definitely beautiful. And I was like, not was okay. I understand was she still is beautiful. Um,
Okay.
anyway, but beauty is, as they say, skin deep. You need to know about someone. So we texted. I was having a hard time with my cell phone. That was a problem. My
That's a
cell
whole nother
phone did
story.
not ring at all. Just about a week or so before her and I were talking. I think maybe not even that long. And I had just bought it recently, and whatever. Another story, like she said. So we started talking, texting, and then talking on Facebook and getting to know each other. And um, we both fell in love.
How many hours was our first conversation?
Uh,
Okay, wait. Let me say this. First of all, you need to follow the will of God. The will of God is not for everyone to get married. I mean, I love him very much. But, God might take one of us home when we don't get married. I'm
yeah,
hoping that is not the
yeah,
case.
yeah,
Um, but, especially we're at a spiritual warfare conference right now. We never know what directions God's going to lead. You may be watching this, and that is not God's will for you to get married. So we're not trying to portray that once you give everything up, God's going to bring you a spouse. That may not happen for you.
yeah,
You may
yeah,
be actually looking, because I know people that were actually looking and found their spouse online dating. It just did not work for us
yeah,
online dating. So stay in God's will. Keep your heart open for whatever He wants. Like I said, I was okay if I never got married. I was actually making plans to potentially adopt some kids. I'm like, if I never get married, I want my babies. So you just never know. So let me just say that follow God's will for your life.
yeah. Definitely, you need to follow God's will in your life because if you get married and you're not in the will of the Lord, problems can occur,
Yes.
and this is not saying that problems will not occur if you're in the will of the Lord, because the devil is there, and if he sees something good, he's going to attack it. He's going to attack it any way he can. He's going to do whatever he can. He's going to even give you doubts. We had doubts at times, and I realized many times, when I was having my doubts, said, okay, wait a second. I know she's a good Christian lady. She's helped me even get closer to the Lord, and she's someone that the type of woman I've been praying for and wanting. Someone that was good with my family. Get along with my mother, because there's another story about that. But anyway, uh, things like that, and you want to be sure to know that it is that when you're in the will of the Lord, you know that the devil is going to attack, and he's going to give you doubts, and that's why you always need to pray and seek God's will, because there are going to be doubts, there are going to be questions, there are going to be frustrations, there are going to be problems that occur in your life, and you need to know God's will, and you need to also know that even though you're in God's will, you're still going to have problems. And if you're not in God's will and you have problems, then you don't have someone to go to as easy. I mean, you can get back into the will of God, but that's going to be hard because you're not in the will of God to begin with, and you're going to really have a lot of difficulty problems because you're not in the will of God. And when you're in the will of God, and when you know it's right, you know that you know that you know, it's not just I think I know or maybe I know. Then when the problems come, you pray, you ask God, you say, hey, and you shouldn't pray. I know I said you pray when problems come, but you shouldn't pray just when problems come. Pray always, always, never ceasing, always praying. When something good happens, you pray, you thank God. When something bad happens, pray, thank God for the challenge. Don't think God's like, oh, you'll I got something hard and it's trouble and I'm suffering. Thank you. No, it's not what I'm doing. It's what God's strengthening us to do.
Yes. And regardless, oh, you got something, a notification. But
Yes.
anyways, you could tell he's a preacher, right? But I'm just saying, like, regardless, because I love him. I'm positive he's my husband. But if God
Yeah.
told us we love God more, so if God tomorrow said, you know what? No.
Yeah.
I would cry. I would
we
be
would
very
be sad,
upset.
but
He would cry too because
yeah,
we love each other.
yeah, we do, we do, we really
But
do.
we love God more. We want God's will. Not saying, because like I used to say, and I said that in a video before, there's good, there's better, and then there's God's best. And we want God's best. And you should also want God's best. So never be so attached to a relationship that, you fight God on it. Because I know plenty of people. I actually have a friend right now, and I won't give too many details because people from my church will be watching this. I don't want them to figure out who I'm talking about. But I have a friend who married someone that she thought was Christian, thought he was saved. He was not. And now they're having all these issues in their marriage. Great guy, takes care of her, takes care of the kids, but they can't connect on that spiritual level. So don't be so impatient just to like, no, Lord, I want to. Not saying that was her because that was not her, but don't be so desperate to, well, it's okay, I'll compromise, because you know what? We did not compromise.
Right. Yeah. Compromising is not good because you think you can change someone, and I know I'm stubborn, and
You cannot
changing
change people.
is for God, not for us. And for those that have gotten in that situation, my suggestion is if you have already gotten married, like she talked about, pray to God. Pray to God. Don't
Seek
try to
wise
change the other
counsel.
person.
Seek wise counsel.
Seek wise
Seek
counsel
the
and
Lord.
pray to God.
Mm-hmm.
Now, time looks like it's memory or something, so we may have to cut it soon.
We got to do it quickly. So, okay. Where are you from? You guys know I'm from Chicago, and I'm in Minnesota. We met through a mutual friend.
I'm from Texas. Well, I am in Texas right now. Although I was in New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, and
Missionary kid.
Missionary kid, yeah, and then Mexico, and now I'm there at the border in Texas.
Yes, we're gonna try to move this along for memory's sake. So, what made us like each other? Well, our first conversation was several hours long, and I'm not gonna say how long. I would not encourage you to do that, because your feelings can be misplaced. Like, I like this person. It's like, no, it's not the right person. But we talked for several hours. But what attracted me to him was first and foremost his love for God. As I've told before on this channel, I was engaged before, and God broke that off because he was not a godly leader. Like, we just sat for like some days in a spiritual warfare conference, and he's praying to God and taking notes, and we're sitting in church together. I know that would likely have not been the case if I had went ahead and just married somebody that God told me no to. Mm-hmm. So that was the thing that got me, is your heart for God and just how sweet he was. He is just a sweet, loving guy. He is so good to his mom, and that was important. But first and foremost, God was important to him.
Yeah, things about her that just so many things so many things we agreed on, so many things that the Christian things, like I said earlier, someone that that wants to pray, that wants to live a Christian life, and someone that I don't want just a Christian girl, but someone that pulls me closer to God, because that's what you need. You need a helpmeet. As men, we need a helpmeet, someone that also not just is there to order around, or so to speak, like that, but that brings us closer to God, because if they're not going to bring us closer to God, then they're not the right one, because they would pull us away from God. And we want someone that pulls us closer to God, a stronger, as the Bible talks about two, different things it says in the Bible. So talking about two people, one falls, the other one can lift them up. Two laying down, one for warmth, and if one does not, is no warmth. The Bible talks about two. Now, understand, if you're one by yourself, that doesn't mean that you don't have the strength, but you can have friends, you can have other people that are with you, another person that gives you strength. But for a wife, you want someone that can increase the strength.
Oh, that's what attracted to me. Increase your strength.
Yes.
Yay, that's exciting. I kind of do that. Let me see. I have questions here. How we came to date.
How we came to date?
Well, let me say, he said, "I love you" first. He did. It took me a little bit longer, which I'll put all that in a different video. I'm not gonna do that for this video.
Okay.
But how we came to date is we just really connected, and I just felt like yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good godly guy, and who I've been waiting for. Remember, I said next person I dated had to be my husband, and I just felt comforted, like okay, yeah,
Yeah.
he's my good godly guy. Did you want to say anything about that or no?
Well, I think I said that earlier about how you were the strength.
um. Oh no. Okay. I did my questions backwards. So how long have we been together? We count the day we first met,
Yes, the
which is
11th.
weird.
Was it May? Right. I'm getting my months mixed up. April, May, June, August.
August.
The 11th.
Yep.
The 11th.
Of last year.
Yeah. And I do celebrate every 11th.
He does. So that's something really sweet that he did. Okay, so I get this text message on September 11th, and he's like, "Happy anniversary." He's been doing that. It's so cute. I just love that. I love it. Um, let's see. And how are we maintaining long distance? Actually, being older, it's better that we're long distance. Because I'm just gonna, how can I say this modestly? For a lot of couples, it's better to maintain long distance to hold accountability.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna be honest. Like, no, there's been times we've been at this conference, we've been by ourselves and stuff. But we have maintained
Yeah, I think the
good things.
long distance helped us. That's one thing I think about long distance. And a lot of people I know say, oh, long distance doesn't work. Long distance relationship doesn't work. Well, if it's long distance for 10 years, 20 years, then yeah, it's not going to work. But it's long distance relations where getting to know each other. We're forced to talk. We're not forced to sit down and hug and cuddle or something like that. We're forced to talk, and that's the only way we can communicate. Not communicate by holding hands, or communicate by giving a hug, or just skipping down the road, or skipping in the rain, or dancing in the rain, whatever. It's about actually communication, and communication is a key. Of course, there's God, but there's God and there's communication. You need God and communication. You need God first, of course, but then you need to communicate, because if you don't communicate, then it doesn't work. And with this long distance, I think communication, talking, thinking about things to say, thinking, sometimes you think you know everything, you said everything, but that never happens. That will never happen. You could be 500 years old. I guarantee you, people from the flood, before the flood, they learned new things about people, their wives and their husbands, 500 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So you can learn new things, you can talk, and that gets the communication and love that way connected stronger, and then we get to meet each other and talk, and so that gets a connection.
And it made it so much sweeter when we actually met, because I got to know his heart and he got to know my heart, and it wasn't because yes, I think he's very handsome.
She's very beautiful too.
But thank you, dear. But it wasn't just that, and that's why I'm glad it's long distance, because it's not like a physical tension, I guess.
Right. Yeah. You get physical tension. I think that could have been what was wrong with the other girl, not noticing, her problems and stuff like that, and that can happen. That can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter who it is, or what you do, but if you get a good connection, a solid connection of communication, it can be. Now, I'm not saying that for those that are nearby, that you have your boyfriend, your girlfriend is right there in the same, you guys only start texting with each other. Don't do that. I mean, if you're there, communicate, go on dates, do things like that. But it is a good thing. It is a good connection, and it does work. It does work. We are proof that it works.
It does. We actually had our first date over, was it Cast?
Yeah.
It was a video app, and we sat on video chat and watched a movie. So you can make long distance work. But whether you're in person or long distance, I guess the heart of what we're saying is get to know each other's heart. Because when you're willing, Christian or non-Christian, when you're willing to just jump in the bed with somebody, I'm just gonna be honest. Um, God meant sex for a bonding experience. And if you're only attracted to the physical or just want to have sex with them, you are not going to be able to clear away all that stuff and say, okay, God, is this person right for me? Because you've already put yourself in a position to spiritually bond with that person. And that's why I like that we're long distance.
Yeah,
Not
but
that we can't control our hormones, but I'm just saying, like, it's better long
it
distance because
gives
I
a
feel like we got to know each other
yeah,
better.
it gives a strength. It gives a, I guess you would say, reassurance that yes, our connection is not physical, and whether or not that would have happened if we were right side by side, I think God knew our hearts and our mind, our fears, and yes, it is wrong to have fears. We should always know that there's God, and God, not me, it's God, but God loves us, and He will take care of us. And if we put our trust in Him, we can't be attacked. We can't be hurt. We can be hurt emotionally and physically by things, but we cannot be defeated because we have God on our side. But we need to make sure that we don't have those fears. But God does know us, and He says, okay, here in the Bible does say He will give us uh, the temptations. He'll allow temptations that He knows that we can handle.
Mm-hmm.
And so, whatever the case is, God will give us strength. And so sometimes there are some of you that want a long distance relationship, have a long distance relationship, don't fear it. If you're close by, don't fear it. Just put God first.
Exactly. I know this is all over the place. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, and he's everything I didn't know I needed. Believe it or not.
Yeah, same with her. There's just so many things, and I was like, okay, wow, yeah. It's like there are a lot of things that a lot of things is just like, okay, I didn't know there was a girl that existed that was like this. That that believed so many things that I do too as well, that we both believed. And it was just like a connection. But then there was other things, that so okay, that makes sense. It's a good connection.
Yes, but long story short, we met because my friend Amber gave me his information. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to mention. So his mom has been asking for 5 years, even before his brother went to heaven. She's like, if you know any girls that are single for my boys, let me know. And 5 years, and then all of a sudden she thought about me. God just plopped Sandy in her mind, like, yay.
What was
Oh,
that? My mom, you said?
yeah. She's been asking Amber for years, like, if you know any single
Oh,
girls.
okay. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
So I am thankful for him. Um, he has put to rest so many fears and nervousness that I had. Um, which I'll have to ask you if you want me to talk about that first before I go blasting that on the internet. We'll talk about that first. But
Yeah,
anyways, okay. Well, I think that's it. Unless
yeah.
you think of
Well,
a question that we could
I'm not sure. We may
answer.
not have time
I don't know.
or memory on the
Oh, when
part.
do we become Christians? So,
Well, I was saved when I was 4 years old. I don't remember the exact moment because I was really young. It wasn't like like some people, say that I was saved from this or that or that. But I know I'm saved. I knew I was saved. There were times I got scared when I was 18, 19. No, I wasn't that old because I was still in the beginning. It was probably 14 or 15, something like that. And the devil will use fear to scare you. But then God is powerful. And if you know that you love Him and that you accepted His gift for eternal salvation, that you are saved. You don't need to quote something. You just need to know in your heart that I've accepted Him as my Savior.
yes, and I got saved. I told that testimony. I got saved at 9 and got reassurance at 19. Um, so yeah. The other thing I want to say, that's what I want to say that I almost forgot. Um, Regardless of your past, he grew up in a Christian home. I did not. In the church's eyes, he did everything right, and in the church's eyes, I did. I should say religious people. I shouldn't say the church. The church did not do that. People that are overly religious would say, because I'm not ashamed that I have a son. Um, and for those women that are struggling, like, I'll never meet a good godly guy because I've messed up, or even a guy saying, I messed up. But we don't hear as much about the women messing up or messing up, whatever. I hate to put it that way, but anyways, God has for you what He has for you, regardless of what your past is. The important thing is that you've got healing from that and you're moving towards God's purpose for you. Don't let your past hold you back from what God has for you.
Yeah, and God does forgive sins, and we should forgive as well, because we are not greater than God, and if God can forgive, why can't we forgive? And it's not that I need to forgive her for anything that she did or any past things that happened. And the case is, there are Bible verses that I believe that say it is right for us, and so I believe that there's nothing wrong with us getting together. I've never been with anyone, and some people may think you shouldn't do that. You should find someone that was, there are people in the Bible, throughout the Bible. You look in the Bible, you read in the Bible that God wanted them to marry someone else, and these people did things that they shouldn't have done, and they had a good life. They got married, and they were great people. The Bible. And there were a lot of people that did things. There were people that were murderers. Paul was a murderer, or at least he helped kill, which was Saul to begin with. He killed people, different things. Even David, he killed people after he was saved. But sin is sin, and we're all sinners, and all we need to do is ask God to forgive us. Doesn't give us freedom to do it, because if you think, oh, I can do it over and over and over again because God will forgive me, you're not really repenting. But you need to repent of what you did, or in any sin, whatever it was, whatever the case is, but don't let it hold you back, because when you're letting it hold you back, you're doing another sin, and that is a sin of fear and doubt of God, because God said He cleaned it out. It's gone. It's disappeared. It's empty. It's completely gone.
Yes, because never in a million years would I think God would put me with such an amazing, amazing guy. I just love him.
She is an amazing woman. She is an amazing woman.
That's him. But that's what God does, regardless of your past. As like I said, as long as you've repented you've asked for forgiveness, repented, meaning a change of mind, because some people get that word wrong. It's a change of mind, and you move forward from that. I waited 12 years being single, almost 13, before I met him.
Yeah.
But that's what God does.
I'm 44, so I waited quite a bit.
Old. No, I'm joking. He's not old.
Yeah. So, I mean,
he's only 6 years
I wanted to get
older
married
than me.
when I was 18 or 19, so, I mean, that was around at the age of my parents when they got married. And, God has His time, and we need to wait on His time, not our time. And when we get married, that will be God's time, but we were going to do what we can. That does not mean that we're going to say, oh, I'm just going to sit down and say, oh, let God give me the time. No, we need to do our work. We need to try and put things forward, and we want to get it done as quickly as possible. Tomorrow will be a good day, but that's not gonna be. But anyway, next week, yeah. So give God the reins, so to speak.
Exactly. Well, we're gonna respect His memory and His device, and once He edits this, if He edits it, He's just gonna put it on my YouTube, whatever. But thanks for joining. Let me know if you guys have questions. I'll make a couple more videos on us. And without him, because he's going back to Texas.
Yeah, it'll be a long distance relationship again, but
yes,
we met and we know we love each other, and God will be there. God will be there with us.
It's definitely a godly love.
It will work out.
Yes.
And that will be God's will. All right, well, say goodbye.
All right, guys. I will see you in the next one.